So if your kids are like mine, they grow like 6 inches in 3 days. So I'm constantly buying dirt bikes and four-wheelers to try and keep up with them. So in this case, the fella went out on a limb and bought a relatively new brand. This is be my review of the SSR 189 that my 12-year-old is currently riding. If you're new to the channel, stick around. You might like it, you might not, I don't know. But I do what I think is pretty cool stuff. I do a lot of car audio. Now we're going to start doing some dirt bikes. So I encourage you to pay attention, watch if you want, watch if you don't want, I don't care. You might like it. Stick around.
Check this.
What we have here today is a 2021 SSR 189. It is kind of a hybrid. It is a 4-stroke bike. It's kind of a mix between a large bore motor and a more compact frame. This is more the equivalent of a big wheel 85 in the terms of size. This is 189 cc's. I did purchase this for my 12-year-old son. As you've seen previously there, I said that he growed, and I'm not kidding you, he grew. He jumped from a 65 to this because in the last 8 months or so, he's grown about 6 or 7 inches and totally just would not fit on that bike. So this is going to be my review of the SSR 189. This is a single cylinder 4-stroke air-cooled motor. It's 189 cc's. It has a bore of 65.5 millimeters and a stroke of 56.2 millimeters with a compression ratio of 9 to 2 to 1. Rated horsepower is at 15.4 horse. I think that's a little underrated. I think it's a little more than that. I could be wrong. I don't know. It is a carbureted. It's not fuel injected. It has a 30 millimeter carburetor with a CDI ignition. Pan around here. Like I said, it's a CDI ignition. It is electric and kickstart. There's the starter button, and you can previously see the kicker on it. Chassis and suspension. It has a fully adjustable suspension, fully adjustable rebound and compression forks and shocks. There's the clickers for the front forks. The adjusted others on the rear. Fully adjustable. The front forks have 255 millimeters of suspension travel. The rear suspension is 450 millimeters. It's a spring-loaded rebound compression adjustable shock. And I told you on it, 215 millimeters of travel. Get up here. It does have a cast steel, form steel tube frame. The bike has a wheelbase of 52 inches, a seat height of 35 inches, almost 12 and a half inches of ground clearance. It holds a little over 1.5 gallons of fuel in the tank. It's fuel, no, I already covered the fuel, my bad. Its overall weight is 236 pounds, so it is a little on the heavy side. The exhaust is a single outlet off the head, and it goes into a pro circuit style muffler. These are pretty loud from the factory. There is an optional, I can't remember if it's an FMF or an actual pro circuit pipe that could be bought for it aftermarket directly through SSR. Front wheel is a 19-inch wheel. It's a 7119. Has a 260 millimeter front disc brake. Those are aluminum alloy wheels that come straight from SSR. Like I said, 260 millimeter front disc brake. Hydraulic brakes. The rear brake is a 240 millimeter disc paired to a 16-inch wheel, which is also aluminum alloy. That's a 90-116. Also hydraulic brakes. Back to a little bit of suspension. The front forks on this are pretty beefy if you can look. They have 43 millimeter inner fork tubes. It has a large front axle. Double pinch bolts on each side, so it adds a little rigidity to it. Cast aluminum triple clamps. And the front has 10 inches of inverted travel. On the flip side, you can see it's set up like your standard motocross bike. 8.5 inches of rear wheel travel. It's a pretty large shock. It's spring loaded, preload and compression with rebound adjustment, like I said earlier. Uses a linkage. So, as you can see, it's pretty well built. A little more on the engine. Also, as previously stated, is 189 cc's. It is a 2-valve air-cooled single overhead cam carbureted 4-stroke. Kind of like the CRF 150s, CRF 230s, and the Yamaha 125s. But it's different because it is carbureted and not fuel injected like a lot of the newer bikes these days. It uses a Cant pilot jet and a less typical flat main jet. There has been some past issues on some of the earlier models of these when they first came out, started making them, of a lot of bog. I have not, nor has my son, experienced any bog with this bike. He twists it and it goes. It doesn't hesitate. And like I said before, it does have a CDI ignition. It is carbureted, and what's kind of different about this is it doesn't have your typical choke down on the carb. Kind of like a hot start in the old days of the 4-stroke carbureted bikes. This is your choke. You just pull it and start it. Very rarely have to use it. And you can see here I've added some aftermarket stuff already for it. There's really nothing listed for it just quite yet. I have added Tusk bar clamps, a Tusk master cylinder cover, and added some other stuff. This is a keyed ignition. You do have to turn the key on. It comes with a lithium battery up underneath the seat near the air box. And it does have a neutral safety switch. So you have to pull the clutch in and press the button. And as you can see, I did not have to choke that. It fired right off. They are cold-natured. I will give them that. It is pretty loud. It idles fairly quiet, but it's got some growl to it. When you get on the pipe, it barks at you. Shut her down here. As I stated, this is a 2021 model. They have redesigned the plastics. Don't quote me, but I believe the 21, maybe the 20 models have this updated plastic style. So the plastics have been changed. In years past, they did kind of resemble the same plastics as a KTM 85. That's what a lot of people have bought graphics for. But this is a plastic update, and there's only one company that I'm aware of right now that is making graphics for these, and that is BRM Off-Road out of Idaho. You will see that in an upcoming video. I'll be doing graphics on this. They only come in two color options: white like this one here, and blue, which kind of about the same color as the Yamaha blue, but I like to look at the whites, and so does my boy. If you check out dirtbike.com and dirtrider.com and you search reviews on these, you'll find some excellent links, and I'll attach these to the description here. But they got great articles on some tests that they did on this bike, and they have nothing but positive reviews on this. I have yet to see a negative review on this bike. So you're probably asking yourself by now, why SSR? And I say, why not? If you follow me on the audio side of my channel here, I do things a little differently, and I like to go a little different and go with kind of the non-popular stuff. But the way I look at this is, for the price point, you absolutely can't beat this. And today's used market price, the way we was going through bikes, from him coming up and growing, to buy a new KTM, which is what he previously rode, and Yamahas, I was going to pay the same price for a used bike, not knowing exactly what I was going to get, because let's be fair, not a lot of people are honest when they're selling, and that's a shame. But this bike, cash out the door, was a little over $3,000. Tell me where you're going to get another bike like this, brand new, out the door, for that kind of money. No, it's not a KTM. No, it's not a Yamaha. No, it's not a Coway. No, it's not a Honda like I got sitting over here. That's my bike. But for the price point, absolutely can't be beat. This bike absolutely rips. I'm 6'2", about 230 pounds, and this thing pulls me absolutely no problem. So you can imagine my 12-year-old son that weighs a little over 100 pounds can absolutely rip on this bike, and he's adjusted to it very, very well. Let's go over some of the cons. Some of the cons about it. It does have, just like any other bike or whatever you're going to buy, everything's got some cons to it. One of the biggest cons to it is the weight. It is a heavy bike. It, like I said, 236, 239 pounds. My 450 over here doesn't weigh much more than that. So that is a con, and that's because it uses a steel frame and steel sway arm. But it absolutely has the torque to make up for that. Some of the other cons about it is not a lot of availability of aftermarket parts. Like these bar clamps and stuff that I showed you. These are actually the same ones that fit my bike. I just looked them over and took some measurements and looked them over again, and I just ordered some, and well, I'll be darned, they fit. And if you're a member of any of the SSR groups on some of the social media, a lot of these parts do interchange off of other bikes, so people are experimenting and playing with it, and they're finding what works and what doesn't. That's some of the cons of it, but I think the pros outweigh the cons with this. Like I said, price point, the torque, the amount of power that these things do put out, and you will see, I'll somewhere in this video, I've either already put a video of him riding it, or I'm going to put it here. bike just can't be beat from what I can tell right now. And if you follow me on the car audio side of my channel, I'm a big brand supporter of the brand Audio Pipe, and my motto for them is dollar for dollar, watt for watt. They can't be beat. I'd say this, dollar for dollar, power for power. I don't know. I have to come up with something. I don't know. This bike absolutely cannot be beat. So, you know, that's kind of a quick review of the SSR 189. I'm going to have more videos of this. I have videos of him riding. My other boy, he's got a 450 quad. We do quite a bit of riding in the warm summer months. So if you've never seen my channel, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you've been following my channel for some time, yeah, I know this ain't a car audio, but I like it both. So we're going to start doing both of these. So that's my review on the SSR 189. And the next video coming up will be a video, we got some graphics in for it. So you have to check that out. So I appreciate you guys watching, if you took the time to watch this whole video. And like I said, hit that like and subscribe button, you know. A fella would appreciate it. So until next time, guys, wrap.